Hello guys, in this workshop we are solving the problem on the tank emptying with using the VF model. And so far we have solved the problem in the Fluent. We have made the animation as well, and the time which we calculate is it comes out to be the almost same as we determined analytically. And now in this video we are going to make the animations in the CFD post. The same thing, the same animation, but in a different way, different commands. So I thought this would be the additional knowledge for you, additional skill for you. So it starts with the Fluent. But the thing is that when you start solving your problem, so at that time you have to start writing the files for the CFD post. Now one may ask the question that why we should not be writing the every time step and then load all these time steps into CFD post. Answer is that yes, you can, but the problem is that if you save all these files may be very, very large, and it takes so many space on your computer, your hard disk, and secondly, it will take a lot of time to load on the CFD post. So a simple solution they have provided by the ANSYS is that instead of doing that thing for the whole files, you can write down the files for the CFD post. And for that, you have to go to calculation activities. And you can see that we have the automatic export. And this is automatic export. You can do it for any software. And for example, if I delete this option here, and click on the solution data export, and also you can export the particle history data, especially for the DPM. So I will click on solution data export, and then I have to put the name. Let's say it's tank emptying. Okay, so I am putting some proper name which I can remember later on. And now we have the options, like you can save it for the, this will be for every time step. So inside field view, mechanical APDL input Nastran. So but the format we are going to use is the CFD post and inside, and the file format is C date file. Select here, and then select the frequency and also file name. So let's say I put the name as the tank emptying CFD post. Okay, so then it will append the time step at the end of the file. So the first time step, second, third, fourth, and so on. And on which surface I want to export data, so you can select all or any particular surface you want to select, and then variables. So for example, I want to select only the volume fraction. You can do it also, but here I want to show you that you can select all the variables also. But instead of doing that thing, let's say we select our main parameters. Density, 3 velocities, and also you must, when you use a selected type of the selection, in that case you must select the X, Y, Z coordinate for the mesh. It's very important. And then the last thing is about the volume fraction. So volume fraction of the phase 1 and volume fraction of the phase 2. And same with the density for the phase 1. You can select that one also, but I will not do it. And then click on OK. And then initialize. So this should be done with the very beginning of the simulation. So initialize. The phase 1 would be my phase 2 is basically the water, and phase 1 is the air. So I want the water should be inside the whole tank. Okay, so I'm just waiting for this command because it is taking some time. So I'm just waiting for this command to be finished. And solution animation is over here. This is control number 1, and you can select the no lighting at all and click on display. This is the contours of the volume fraction of the phase 2. Alright, you can uncheck the global range, and in the color map option you can choose the number of how many layers you want or the bands you want. You can also make it smooth. Okay, now click on OK. So this is necessary for the animation when you want to make it in the Fluent, but it's not necessary for the CFD post. I'm just doing it so that you can see how the flow is developing over the current window in the Fluent. Otherwise, for CFD post, this is an unnecessary step. And now we put the time step, everything as you know already, and click on calculate. Okay, I want to display the transient data, so it should be on the screen. And now start the simulation again. Okay, it is saying the invalid animation. So let me check. Okay. All right. So and click on OK. But if this problem is there, then you can delete it and you can define the new one. So edit object. It should be the top view. Yes. And you can put any name over here. So I will just keep the default name, which is animation 1. And I'm sure you know this thing that we done in the Fluent part, that how to put the name, and then with the same name you would get the animation. And now just click on the OK and click on calculate. Okay, so now you can continue with the calculations and for the required number of time steps. So the last time they were around 2300 time steps. So at least should be more than 2000 time steps. Right now time step is 2.9. Now it's 3.5. Okay, so now you continue with this process, and if you observe here in the working directory, so we have the tank empty VF practice, and here you would find the files which they are being written in the CDAT format. So one is the case format, second file is the date file, but that is in the CDAT format. So these are old files, but now new files are being written. It's a 6. So new files are being written here. You can see. So I can delete these files because these were the old files, and now the new name is the tank emptying. So just keep in mind this thing. So whatever the name is, that the CDAT file is important. And here you can see that the file names are here. So 21 file is here, 22 file will be written very shortly. And these files, HSF, they are the frame files for the Fluent. And these files are used when we make the animation inside the Fluent. Okay, so now we have written these files, and now I will stop here, and I will open my project file which I already saved with all the files written there. So I will demonstrate that thing, that how this can be done in the CFD post. So the first step is that you have to write down these CDAT files from the Fluent. Okay, so we are working on this file. Now I will be opening the file which I already saved with the required number of the time steps. And I will not solve that one for the all time steps, but for the sufficient number of time steps which can be used for making the animations, and explain to you the method, and so that how this can be done in the inside the CFD post. Okay, so file is open. So first of all, I will delete the CFD post, and don't use the results on at the end of the this container with of the fluid flow with the fluent. So therefore, you have to select the results, and these are over here, and then drop the solution to the results over here. Sorry, not that thing, but they should be independent, and open this. So open this will start the CFD post. If you double click here on the results, and it should not contain any results from the fluent directly. So once we are done with this thing, then click on load results, and then look for the files we want to work on. This is inside the D. This is the tank empty VF, not the practice but the actual file. Then for DP0, the design point 0, this is the for the fluent folder. This is the fluent folder here, and look for the CDate last file. So it should be the last file. So right now the last file is not 2301, but it's a 1258. And you may get the many options, but right now we are not getting the much options here. But sometimes you get the option over here that you want to load all the data, so you have to load all the time history and in a single file. Anyhow, so click on open, click on OK. It will take some time. You can see the progress is over here because it is to load all the files, all the time history inside the CFD post. Okay, so the files are loaded, and you can confirm this thing by clicking on the time step selector, which is over here. So it shows that we have time history from step number 1 with the time step first was the 10 power minus 5, and then we are down to the 1258, and this last one is the full and final. Okay, so this is done. This is confirmed here. Okay, so now to make animations, either you can go from here. So this same panel will be opened, or you can click over here. This will also open the same thing from here. Now there are two methods to make the animation. Number one is the time step animation, which you can make at any time. So what you have to do is that you have to display the required contour plot. So first you have to create the contour plot over here. And here you have to choose the plane. So because we already created the X and Y coordinate in the fluent, and also we exported those locations as well. So therefore I will not create the Y coordinate plane again, and I will use the existing one from the fluent. And which variable I want to display is the volume fraction. It's going to be the local value. 11 contours are okay, and apply. Okay, you can also change the labels. You can put the rendering in a different way. You can put the transparency. You can draw as a shading or lines or points. You can also play with the lighting if you want, but I will just keep the default settings. Alright, so now you can select your view as well. Maybe you can display the, let's say, orifice here, and the bottom geometry. And for bottom geometry, maybe you want to display the mesh as well, so you can click on the show mesh lines. And the same goes with the orifice, which you can see here. Maybe you want to display the side walls. So the side walls are going to be the outer, and for the outer maybe you can change the color to some different color, maybe the gray color, and you can also add some transparency here so that we can see the view from inside like this. And maybe you want to display the top surface with the different color here, and maybe mesh lines, but that should be done on the, not over here, but should be on the top surface. So let me change the color back to the gray color. Okay, so double click here first. So in that way you can only select that thing, and I just want that I should be only displaying the mesh lines. Okay, so now the first we will learn is about the time step animation. Second, we will go for the keyframe animation. And in the both cases, you will see the almost similar options. So I'll discuss these options one by one. The first thing is that right now we are controlling by the time step. You can also do it for the time. And you can also specify the range for the animation. So you can start with from any time step, and you can also end at any time steps. But right now we are going to make the animation for all the time steps we have in this simulation. And then if you want to save the movie, then you have to click here. So when you click on the play button, this will only make the animation play on the screen. But once you click on this option and put the name, proper name, so let's say this is in the D tank empty VF practice files, user files. So right now it is over here. So if let's say if I make it to the D tank empty, and so this can be also done here. So it's a time step animation. So because we are doing a time step animation, so I put the name as a time step animation. And you can also change the format from Windows Media Video MPG4 AVI. So let's say we go with the AVI. And you can also make the repeat. So repeat 1 means that this will only play one time. You can make it as many as time you want. So what will happen is that the same movie will be copied multiple times, whatever times you want to select over here. And you can also make the loop infinite by selecting the option infinite over here. So but right now I am just going to make the animation for the only one time, that is it will start from the initial time and end at the last time step. And then we have the options here. So what I want is that I want to create the white background instead of the default gray type of the background over here. You can just keep the same default background and uncheck the white background option here if it is already selected. And the image size which I am going to make, by default is 640 by 480. I am selecting the HD video 1080p. This is the maximum size my screen can support. But if you have the more power on the more bigger screen with you have like the 4K, you can make the custom size. And definitely for the high resolution you also need to have the good graphics card. And the next thing is that the frame rate is by default 24, and you can make it 30 or maybe 60. And the quality right now is the medium quality. I can make it high or higher, so it will have the better quality images when it will write the animation file. So now we are done with all the settings in the CFD post for the time step animation. Now next thing is just to create the animation. So click on the play button, play the animation. This will play the animation on the screen, and as well as this will write down the animation on your computer hard disk. So click here. And also this will show you the time steps on over here, and you will see the progress on the bottom side. So it's loading time step number 3, 4, the same thing. It's properly synchronized, so you can see the 5 here and 5 here over here. Okay, so up till now, the 244 time steps has been animated, and also it must have been written in the movie file. But the movie file is always is made at the last time step. Okay, so click on the stop button over here, and this says animation will stop once the next frame is complete. Okay. Now I just want to see that whether we have the some file or not. So time animation file is there. It's not completely done. You can see it. And also if you didn't make the repeat forever in the animation file, but you can do it also in the video player. For example, here you can click on the repeat, and this simulation will keep on animating. It will be repeating forever. Okay, so now I will stop here. The next thing is about the keyframe animation. The keyframe animation is not only used for making the this type of animation which we made with the help of time step animation, but also this can be used, and it's very useful for making the any type of animation you want to show to your advisor, to your customers, to your company, whatever the requirement is. So I will explain the procedure. That the first of all, you have to click on the keyframe animation, and then so first I will tell you about the same animation which we done with the time step animation. I will show you the same thing which we can do with the keyframe animation. And the next thing is that another use of the keyframe animation, that we can use this option to create any type of animations on the screen. So first the same as the time step animation. So first of all, you have to click on the first time step and set the view where you want to display the things. Let's say right now I'm going to hide this surface. Okay, and so now you have to add the first one, and put all the steps which you want to include here. So because right now the time steps are 1258, so the number of frames I'm going to put are 1248. So these are the real time steps, so that's why we have the equivalent frames. But for the other type of animations, you can put the more frames, and with the more frames, basically the animation will be more smoother. So the first thing is done. Now I will go to last step, double click here. So you will see that the volume fraction will be over here, and then click on the new. So this will make another frame, and with the 10, so this means that now we have the 1248 plus 10, so 1258. Again the same thing is here, that you have to click on the play button. This will play the animation on the screen. You can save the movie. Let's say I put the name, just for the sake of this workshop, let's say I put the name as the a.avi. So the name is now A, and again we are going to click on the options. So the file format is the JPG, the white background is there, the image size is HD video 1080p, and in the advanced you can put the quality frame rate as the 60 and the quality is a high, and click on the OK. Okay, so now we are done with the setting, and we have done with the save movie. The file format is the AVI, and now I will click same as I did for the time step animation, and I will click on the play the animation. So it will start with all the frames. So now it is animating basically the frames. So these frames are equivalent to the time steps. So now it is not considering any time step, but because we connected the frames with the time step, that's why when the CFD post is writing the frames, like say 1258 frames, so we have the 1258 time steps inside those frames. And you can also make the movie more slow or faster, that again from the options. So right now the 9 frames are done, 10 frames are done, 11. Okay, I will stop here. I will stop here, and I want to show you that how this will look like. Okay, so we have stopped the animation, and if you take a look on this animation, you can see. So because there are very low number of frames. Okay, so I've written the same file earlier. So this is a keyframe animation. This is also done with the same thing. You can see over here. You can also write down the time step on the top. Okay, so the last thing which I want to show you is to how to write down the time steps on the screen. So okay, so the best option would be, you can also put in the keyframe animation, but the best option for the time step the animation would be the time step animation command in the animation. So after going to the time step animation, the next thing is that you have to make the current time step equal to 1, and then click on insert, and from here click on the text. Okay, and click on the embed auto annotation, and you can use a time step or the time step or the time value. So actual time of the simulation or the time step, both will be displayed. So right now I will go with the time value, because in the last animation you have seen the time step being animated on the screen. Okay, click on apply, and you can also change the location of this part here. Maybe if you make it none, and X position, let's say, is a 6.65, and the Y position is a 0.65 or 65%. Let's say over here, and so as soon as I click on the play animation, so this will play the animation on the screen. Again, I'm repeating this thing. It will write down the movie file, and at the same time it will also show you the time step being recorded over here. So as the time is progressing, the accumulated time will be shown, will be displayed over here. So you can see over here, 4th time step, 5th time step. The time value is, this is accumulated time step, total time. And if I stop here by clicking over here, so up till now we have animated the 8 time steps, and the animation name is the time step animation. So go to the folder and double click here, and you will see the same thing here. So let's say if I make it repeat, so you can see the time is being animated here. Anyhow, stop the movie, and in this video, basically what we did is that the first thing was that how to write down the file for the CFD post from the Fluent for every time step. Next thing is that how to load that file with the complete time history. Third is that how to see the time steps, which is from time step selector, and how to use that panel. And next thing is to how to make the time step animation and the keyframe animation. The last thing I want to add here is about the keyframe animation is that this can be used. This is a generic type of the animation tool, and that can be used for the anything. For example, if I close this time step selector, so let's say right now we are on time step number 1. So I put the 1 time frame here, and the number of frames I'm putting are 50. So more frames means that we have the higher quality in the animation file. So this is not a time step animation. This is the simple keyframe animation. So let's say now I go to the last time step. This is just for the demonstration purpose. This is just like a still photography, but we are moving it around the different locations. So second frame with the 50 times time, again 50 frames, and now I am zooming it, and also I am going to hide the text from here. Again I am going to put the 50 frames here, okay, and just move it around. Again I put the 50 frames here, and go to options, and if you go with the slower speed, you will see the animation will be at a slower pace, and with the more frames you will also see the more smooth frame animation, and you will see the more detailed view, and the animation from the one view to second view will be very much smooth. So now you can let's say put the name A and click on the play. So all the frames will be played. So first frame, second frame, because there are the 50 frames in a first keyframe animation. Right? And because the second frame was the last time step, so it will show you all the animations over here, but that will be done within the 100 time steps, 100 frames. So I'm just waiting for this animation to be completed. You can see the now time is 0.50, 0.522. So it means that you can also animate the time value in the keyframe animation as well. Okay, so now you can see that all the frames has been animated. Now I'm going to my working folder, and from here I will be playing this video. And you can see the first all the time steps are animated. So first two frames were about the time step animation, and time is displayed here. Okay, and then the third keyframe is this side. So in this way we have shown the that particular file from the different angles. So for example, if you want to show your product and also the CFD results at the same time, in that case the keyframe animation is a very valuable tool. So I hope that you like this video and this was helpful for your learning in the post processing of the CFD results. Thank you.